Sitter Karl han bare og humrer her over Donald Trumps adjektivbruk, men nå skal vi til dagens gjest og karbonfangst. Capsol Technologies har altså hentet 45 millioner kroner til 5 kroner og 20 øre aksjen. En nyhet som faktisk sendte aksjen opp utover i uken. Den ligger fortsatt godt over emisjonskursen 5,54. Får vi jo si. Den nye store investoren heter Holcim, sveitsisk basert sementgigant kan vi vel kalle dem, som altså tar unna 30 av disse 45 millionene. Med oss nå Wendy Lam, konsernsjef i Capsol Technologies. Good morning, Wendy, and welcome back to the show.
Yeah, great to be back, Marius.
So let's talk about your new investor to start off before we talk about the capital raise. Holcim, which I understand you've been sort of in contact with for a few years, actually.
Yeah.
How did you end up actually getting them to put some money in the company?
Well, I guess the proof is in the technology, but you're right. The relationship has been there for a few years, and I think really cemented our next step here based on our Capsol Go campaign last year, which was a demonstration at one of their German plants. It gave them an opportunity to go really deep into how the technology works at one of their actual sites. They were able to see the advantages.
They got their sort of hands-on.
Yeah, exactly. Hands-on on the site. We're able to show the energy, the effectiveness, the safety of the solution. So it was a great move for both sides.
In the release that they sent out, they sort of point to how they're investing in several different venture companies in their decarbonization efforts. Right. How sort of secure is this cooperation over time? Are they still sort of waiting to see how your technology performs over time, or are you fairly certain that, you know, they're going to be a customer now for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, well,
they're a big emitter of CO2, obviously, so they've got a long way to go.
Yeah. And they are very serious about CCUS. I mean, they've done their due diligence, both on the technology front, on the business front, and we're connected right up at the very senior levels. And, you know, when they look to the future of decarbonizing their operations, they have a number of tools and technologies, and they've seen some promise in what we can offer and add to their toolkit. So yeah, we expect some more to come out of this for sure.
And where, I mean, Heidelberg, which we've seen in Norway with the facility in Breivik that Aker did a few years back with Northern Lights. But Holcim, where are these plants located that you expect to deliver solutions for? Is it in sort of globally or Europe or?
They have dozens of plants in Europe, and they've already announced that 8 of their projects had EU innovation funding, so that's already bringing them forward. So you can say, even though they didn't build the plant as Heidelberg has already, they have quite a broad set of projects that are being developed, and probably the most of any company like them. So they're very serious about this. They've said it's a major lever for how they reach their goals on decarbonizing, and that's really behind how they will become competitive in the market with their customers.
Are you competing with other suppliers internally in Holcim, that you get one plant, another supplier gets another plant, or?
There are other technologies involved with Holcim, and I would say in general what Capsol's meeting in the market are really all large industrial incumbent competitors. So it's really exciting that Capsol's coming in as a newer technology, showing that we can have a step change in performance, safety and energy-wise, and you know, we look forward to developing that further. So a number of technologies are on the table.
Talk about your finance now, given that you raised 55 million. You ended last year with about 50 million in cash, as far as I remember. Right. How does the finances look going forward now? You secured a big project in Stockholm Exergy backed by Microsoft last year. You got your new investor now. When do you expect the company to become at least cash neutral?
Yeah. Well, we have a great journey. Of course, a lot of it is decided by the market, and the market last year, you know, wasn't going as quickly as we hoped it would. But we continue to make a lot of milestones. You mentioned Stockholm Exergy, the final investment decision, one of the largest what they call BECCS projects, or bioenergy with CCS projects. That was one of a handful of FIDs last year, and we were one of them. So that's a milestone. We have the Holcim and the development with cement. Cement makes up half of our portfolio now. And what's really exciting is our work in gas. So we're doing capture on gas, but we actually like to call it low carbon power because we can produce extra electricity. So all of these milestones, along with our deepening relationships, we also had a capital raise with Munters last year, another industrial partner. That, along with Holcim and our partners like Siemens and Everlands, which is formerly MON, all of that is paving the path for us so that we will be strong for when this market takes off. And it hasn't been easy for all the players in this market.
And how is the momentum now in the U.S.? Because at least I see Yara is talking about sanctioning their ammonia plant with Air Products in Louisiana sometime maybe this quarter.
Yeah.
$2 billion project with CCS to transport blue ammonia back to Europe. Exxon's got about 9 million tons a year, they say, in contracts. Is the North American market still full steam ahead?
Yeah. Well, we see a lot of our competitors, being a lot more cautious. But for us, actually, we've made some great steps ahead. We announced in December a MOU with a U.S. utility to exclusively develop our first commercial project for capture on gas. And this is a project where, again, we can produce more electricity and capture carbon at the same time. So it's not just about capturing carbon, but we're actually helping the customer create a solution and create more value as they upgrade
But how do you
the turbines.
how does that happen, that they actually get more electricity?
Yeah, so we take the high temperature exhaust from a gas turbine and we use that to power the system, and we configure it so that we can produce, we've seen cases 12% more energy than what the turbine can do on its own. So they get more energy and more CO2 at the same time. And it's just like what we did with Stockholm Exergy. We're producing more heat for the district heating. So we're providing value as the same time as we are providing a low carbon solution. So that's exciting.
We were at Pareto's Power and Renewables conference yesterday, and data centers, all the rage these days, right?
Yep.
This industry is buying up, gas production capacity left and right. It seems GE Vernova say they're sold out until the beginning of 29 now.
Yep.
Are you seeing that industry approach you as well to be able to, brag that they're building green data centers with, even though they might be powered by natural gas?
Yeah, absolutely.
They can have CCS.
Absolutely. So, we do carbon capture on, hard to abate sectors like cement, but a big part of our business is around capture on energy production. Gas is a big thing in U.S., as I said. So a lot of the inquiries and the leads that we are working have some link to that whole data center power demand. And what we're seeing is it's all about energy fast and at a tolerable cost. We're seeing the willingness to pay for this energy. And what's really important to get this power quickly is that there's community acceptance. And that means, of course, they don't want electricity prices going up. They want to see that they're not going to use water. And they want to see that it's not going to pollute the environment. So those are factors that are pulling our solution into some of these projects.
But are you being approached by?
Yeah, hyperscalers are involved.
Yeah, are these data centers developers and hyperscalers coming to you directly, or is it through the gas turbine manufacturers and
it's both.
EPC
Through power developers directly. It's probably less directly through the turbine manufacturers, but we are working in conjunction with them to provide the solution. So that's exciting. It's not just Capsol on its own. We're a capital light technology provider, which allows us to ride through some of the industry changes, but partnering up with those like Siemens Energy, for example, or Everlens to provide the solution has been really valuable for our customers.
And how does it look in Europe now? We've got Northern Lights up and running.
Yeah.
But is there momentum to still support and push this industry? I noticed Yara was complaining the other day that they have been sort of adapting the business to fit within the CBAM, the CO2 emission tariffs that the EU is implementing.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the EU comes up and is cutting back on that for fertilizer because they want to shield farmers and agriculture from the costs, right? How does the EU market look for you now?
Yeah, it's still our biggest market, and most of our customers are still here. So ETS is still driving the activity for our customers. Holcim, for example, have not adjusted any of their targets. They still see that if they don't decarbonize, they will become less competitive for the future. So no slowdown on that front. And in Europe, also the green, the new industrial deal, which will promote for example, government procurement of cleaner product is also going to drive some of this activity. So for us, Europe is still very important. We focus on Europe, U.S. There's other things that come up as well, but as a small scaling company, we need to focus as well.
What do you sort of down prioritize, given that you still have to conserve your cash? Are there markets that you?
Yeah, so I've already mentioned cement, biomass, waste energy is another sector, and then gas. Those are sort of three key pillar sectors. We had new work last year with refineries, with lime, with metals processing. I mean, those are very interesting cases, and we see a lot of value we can provide there, but those aren't industries that we're going to chase very proactively. So they're still important. There's probably a lot we can do there. And then geography-wise, we get a lot of incoming from Asia, from Middle East, but we know also the storage there is probably not as mature. So that's allowing us to prioritize on Europe and North America.
We'll see where this ends up.
We need to talk about Melkøya. I mean, the electrification.
Can you save Melkøya?
Yeah.
So given that there will never be surplus power enough to power that, so then it becomes like a white elephant. But it's not complete waste because it's created jobs, and we're good at that, create industrial jobs. But now we can create even more industrial jobs if we do carbon capture up there and test that out. So what kind of facilities would there be? Floating coal, gas power, or would you have a gas power on land? What would be the price differences for carbon capture for those two different solutions?
Yeah, I mean, anything offshore is always going to be more expensive, but Capsol has looked at solutions, carbon capture for both on land gas and offshore or on a platform. We've had customers even from a few years back where we've designed an offshore module for gas production. The on land ones are always going to be easier and cheaper, depending on where you are.
How much cheaper?
Oh, well, it's like how much is oil and gas facility on land versus offshore?
if you have a regasification unit for like an FSRU, like you use when you import LNG and then you make it into gas and you send it with a pipe into a power plant, then it's cheaper to do it at sea than to do it on land.
Yeah.
Much cheaper, 30% cheaper. So why isn't gas powered at sea cheaper than at land?
It could be. You have to account for regulation, you have to account for safety, you have to account for the servicing. And I'd say one nice advantage of our solution is we're using a non-toxic chemical, which can make permitting easier, but permitting is always a challenge in offshore projects. And but we have flexibility to do all that. We're seeing probably onshore be more priority, but there are solutions we're already looking at for floating power as well.
But I remember Equinor had a study, because there was a big debate, why not, build the gas plant, have CCS to avoid using so much electricity from Finnmark onshore. And they had a study, this is way too expensive to do CCS with natural gas turbines. Do you agree with that sort of evaluation that they did? I know you might not know the detailed numbers, but still, is this technology most useful in areas where you don't have plentiful access to grid electricity?
Yeah, I think I'm not familiar with the details of that case, but I know what we can do is we can take extra heat, high temperature exhaust from a gas turbine and use that, of course, to power the carbon capture, but produce more energy. So that combined solution can have a lot lower capex than some typical solutions that are out there, and it could be faster to get up and running as well. So we'd love to take a look at it.
You might have to run out to Stortinget next week before they do the final vote on Wednesday.
But expensive, that's good. When you do greenwashing, the more money you spend, the more credits you get, and the less money you have to send to Zambia and to Amazon.
And you do get generous tax write-offs in Norway when you do investments in the sector.
So you have to look on the bright side of this, new industrial development, lots of industrial workplaces in Finnmark, and so the more expensive it is, the longer time it takes, the better we feel.
I've had people approach me who work on, trying to make these standardized gas plants with CCS on barges, basically, to sort of standardize and get the cost down.
Yeah.
Are you seeing any of those sort of ideas materialize, or?
It's really important for all of our projects, and again, it's for example with Holcim, that carbon capture is not just about carbon capture. It's going to provide some kind of value advantage for the business that's doing it. So I know you mentioned greenwashing. I think those days are kind of over. There's a lot of greenwashing these days, actually. So we really have to present our solution as something that's going to solve a business challenge for the customer. And that might be, I think Holcim even talks about it as margin expansion opportunity. Because if they can sell voluntary credits, carbon capture credits to Microsoft on one of the projects, that helps their financials as well.
Yeah. But if Melkøya electrification, let's say there's not enough power for it, what else than a big greenwashing investment would that end up as being? I mean, it's the definition of a greenwashing.
Save a lot of money on buying these ETS quotes from the EU.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'd like to look at the...
I mean, you feel good. You feel good about yourself. And you capture. I mean, it's like the capturing all the leftist parties, So that's the capture in the whole thing. So that's more than carbon.
We will see where it ends up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we believe in providing real, true business value, and doing it in a clean way is the best way to do it.
Last question. Have you had discussions with, I assume you have had discussions with Holcim about their sort of willingness to put more money into this business over time? Have they committed beyond 30 million?
We've not discussed that specifically, but one of the main drivers for them investing in us is to scale the solution for the cement sector.
Yeah.
So there's no exclusivity. It is very much about making sure that the cement sector has an alternate or a better solution, I'll say, for carbon capture globally. So that could mean different things. But we look forward to getting into some real projects very soon, and we're excited about the year ahead.
But I assume they'll be first in line if they call and need.
Yeah, we hope so.
The delivery.
For sure.
Wendy Lam, CEO in Capsol, thank you so much.
For å se mer, klikk deg inn på FA.no/TV, eller se oss på storskjerm når du vil ved å søke opp Finansavisen på din Apple TV.